it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to come at you and share the second half of my 2022 Project Life album. So we'll kind of get on into it, but I do want to say that all of these Project Life spreads all the process videos are over on my channel, along with the majority of these layouts. So I will link everything that I have below. But let's just dive right into it. So we're actually starting with the first album for the year. This is just a 12 by 12 album from scrapbook.com. And we are starting with the first album because I wanted to I was able to put more months into this first album because my second one was getting a little chunky. So I'm not exactly sure where I left off in that first video. So we're just going to start with July. So you may have seen a couple of these layouts in the previous flip through, but we're just going to start from here. So I'll hold all of them up to try to avoid the glare. So we're going to start with week 27, which was the beginning of July. I love these summertime pages, even though I'm not really a summer girly, but I still enjoy looking at all of the photos. Bubble tea, that's definitely a summertime staple for us. Growing all the veggies in the garden. Big Brother season. I do love that about summers. That's always fun. Looks like I was using a lot of Ellie's Studio during this time. I love these kind of cards that say like a summer story where they're very themed. I think that's really fun. And then it looks like here, this is some Studio Calico stuff. I was able to see my friend Casey and her little girl Andy, which is awesome. And we were growing watermelon. Poppy just looking really cute with her sunglasses on. Just lots of random things happening here. This one, more veggies, lots of veggie photos during the summer. I love to document how that's going. And it looks like down here at the bottom, I love this photo. This is a picture that Will's parents have hanging in their house of Will and his little brother. And I always just loved this photo. So I took a picture of it for my scrapbook. So nice and bright and fun. And then you keep it moving and just kind of the everyday stuff. But I love that. Like, for instance, this picture of the chickens, the neighborhood chickens with the eggs. The chickens don't come by anymore. We have one rooster that still comes to visit. But besides that, we don't have the chickens. So seeing the chickens with their eggs is just really sweet and cute. And I like that I documented that story, you know. And that's what's really special about Project Life, I feel, is all of those little everyday stories that you would potentially forget about, and how just life changes even week to week, month to month, you know, and certainly year to year. So here is August. Now this is where I was originally going to start my second album. So I don't think you guys have seen this portion of the flip through yet. But like I said, I ended up moving it over here just for space. So for this one, I blew up this photo of Penny and Poppy here just because I didn't have a lot of photos this week. This was definitely a Nellie and Clem a week spread, and I love it. More eggs over here. That was apparently a big thing during this time. More summertime photos, bubble tea, my crafty zooms. Here was where we were about to get some work done on our house, so I had to take like tons of stuff out of the craft room, piled it into our living room because I was getting my wall of cubes installed. And here was like one of the last photos of our old bedroom because I was getting a few things done in there as well. So that was exciting. And that's an example of, I did not like our bedroom. So I really wouldn't want to document it. So I put this large like embellishment on top, and then you could just kind of see the bedroom, but it didn't have to be the full focus. Then this is where me and Will went on our trip to California. So this was the first couple of days. The trip kind of spanned like a couple of days of this week and then the entirety of the next week. So of course I just went with the topic here being the trip. So I'm using, it looks like some Ellie's Studio along with just a few random things from my stash. But I do have photos of me and Will all dressed up because we attended his brother's wedding, and a few other photos from getting out to California. But I also documented the podcast and the audiobooks that I was listening to on our trip, along with Penny down here at the bottom being cute whenever I was trying to pack. I really like the way that this spread turned out. And then I have a 2-page spread here of our trip to California. So whenever I do a trip, I document every single week in my Project Life, whether it is documented in some other form or not. For example, in a travel album. So I do have a travel album, which I have a flip through of over here on my channel as well, of this trip to California. So it of course goes into more detail, has all of the photos from the trip, all that kind of thing. But of course I still like to document it in my project life. So I typically just tell an overview story of the trip, and then I pick out some of my favorite photos and document those. So this one is a 2-pager. So we have this side of the spread is week 34. Then we have a little card here. Then I also did a spread here about going to Palm Springs, which was a Super Scrapless Saturday video. So that's over here. I love the way this one turns out. And then also this was another Super Scrap Lift that is Disney themed. So these were both things that we did on our trip to California. So I have those here in the middle. And then on the other side, this is the rest of the trip. So just more additional photos from the trip. And then if I want to really dive into all the stories and all the details, I can pull out my travel album and get more into it there. Then the last spread for this album is actually the end of August, beginning of September, right when we got back from our trip. So it looks like I had a book club meeting. I was starting to get those apple crisp oat milk macchiatos that I was obsessed with over the kind of fall months. And then here was our new bathroom was coming together. And here was my cube wall, like I said, that got done actually while we were on our trip. So very exciting. And that kind of wraps up this album. So let me just slowly put this one away. So of course I already have a flip through of the rest of those pages over here on my channel. So you can always check those out later if you want to. And now we will move on to the second album for the year. Okay. So same thing, I'll hold them up. So actually this album starting in, or this half is starting in September, which is not, you know, typically I kind of do 6 months in one and 6 months in the other. But at the beginning of the year, I didn't have a ton going on or not a lot of 2-page spreads or anything. And this album, I honestly feel like every single week there was something happening. So I ended up with like just a lot more stuff in the second half. So here for week 36, which was the very beginning of September, basically as soon as me and Will got back from California, my parents went to Hawaii and they were gone for 2 weeks. So that was trying for me. I missed them a lot. But I did, I was very happy that they were able to go. It was the first time they got to go back in like 40 years. So that was exciting. We were doggy sitting their dog Mono. So a lot about that here. Then on the other side, I was keeping myself super busy while they were gone. So I was working on things around the house. Like I said, we had just gotten work done around the house. So I was busy kind of decorating and trying to get everything together. Here I was decorating for Halloween. So I just took photos of the house and popped those in place. Still documenting Mono, their dog, because he was hanging out with us there. Here I have a couple postcards. I'm just going to move those out, but my parents sent us a couple postcards while they were gone. And then these were a couple layouts I actually just made off camera one day. I just wanted to document a few of the photos of my parents in Hawaii and also wanted to tell a couple of the stories while they were gone. So I did this one of 2 of my favorite photos of them and just talking about how they were able to go back to Hawaii. And then I also did this layout here where I documented a few more and told a couple more stories. So this week, Andy, sweet Andy, the only little child in my life, she was turning 1, so that was exciting. But also Casey's birthday is 1 day before Andy's birthday, so her mom. So it was a very birthday-centered week. It was also my dad's birthday. But he was still out of town in Hawaii. But yeah, so this was a big week. I had a lot going on with them. I was also finishing up. I did 2 12x12 albums for Andy's first year. So I was trying to finish all of that up, and we were still dog sitting, and there was just so much going on around here during this time. And then finally, it was October. My parents were back. Things were starting to settle down, and I was so excited to start the fall season. I love October. So here's just a few kind of chill photos. It was my Patreon's 1 year, so I was really, really excited about that. And then we move on to the next week, which was almost my birthday week, 1 day shy. So me and Will went to the pumpkin patch to celebrate my birthday together, and it was so fun. So I basically just have only pumpkin patch photos here, and it was just a lovely, very fall themed day. And then over here, this is the week that was actually my birthday. So on my birthday, me and my mom went book shopping, and then Will bought us sushi, and we watched Scream, and it was so fun. I had a cake. I turned 36. So this was just a really nice, fun week, and you know, all the birthday things going on. Here's a couple cards that I got from friends. So I like to just pop in any type of ephemera. I love to pop into my albums. So I typically always do that. And then here I have this large photo of me and Will with a filter on, and then this Ghost World photo that I wanted to include. Then this was another Super Scrap Lift video where I documented a lot of these Ghost World photos whenever I dressed up as Enid, one of the characters from that movie. So I love that. And then on the back, this is from like my very latest video where I worked on 4 spreads to finish up some of the things that were left to do in this album. So I also wanted to document that I dressed up as Baby Spice for my Patreon Zoom. So that is where this one comes into play. And then we keep moving on into October with all of the fun October things that were happening. Carving pumpkins with my mom, taking cute pictures of the doggies, making delicious treats. Here's where it's just a funny meme where me and Will bought tickets to see Blink-182 this year in 2023, which is really exciting. And then we have Halloween week. So book club meetings, watching Scream 2. Here's where I used Crystal's collection here, which was really fun. So if you want any details about things that I actually used or anything, make sure to just go check the process videos that are linked below. Then we're moving on to November. Looks like more book shopping with my mom and able to see my friends again. Also documented a lot of the kitty cats that are around here. As y'all know, we had a lot of cats because 2 mama cats showed up here and decided to have babies at our home. So now we have a lot of kitties. And actually, Lasagna, the one that me and Will have kind of taken into our home, she's at the vet right now getting fixed, which is good, but I do greatly miss her, and I cannot wait to get the phone call that we can go pick her up. So side note, but that's what's happening now. So here's a photo of getting all of the Christmas stuff down, putting Halloween away. Here's on into November. We went to a Grizzly game with Will's family, so that was really fun. I love documenting those books and TV shows that I'm watching and reading, getting Christmas out, all of that kind of fun stuff. It's just a good time. And then it feels like I said, there was so much going on in this album. So the next thing was that me and Will went on a trip to New Orleans. So I have some little postcards here that I got on our trip. This was a really cute bag that I was able to get at a bakery, and I just added all of the stickers and ephemera and stuff that we got on the trip here. And then since this spread was on the right side, I didn't do a 2-page spread. I just added in an insert. So here's some additional or, photos from our trip to New Orleans, some of the places that we ate, the hotel that we stayed at, all of that kind of good stuff. And then on the back, we have a few of the cool places that we visited while we were walking around on Bourbon Street. So that was a good time. And then this one kind of has the main story here of us going to the Grizzly game and just some more little things that we did while we were in New Orleans. And then when you flip it, it's Thanksgiving. So one thing right after the other. So Thanksgiving was also a 2-page spread because, of course, we saw Will's family and my family. And we also went to another Grizzly game. And then I wanted to document things that we made for the Thanksgiving with Will's family and then things that we made with my family. I also had just a lot of cute pictures of the dogs and us kind of hanging out at home because it was that kind of just cozy time. So here's the second half. with more pictures from our family Thanksgiving. I loved this day after Thanksgiving little thing I found online because it talks about all of the leftovers, and I'm a huge leftover person, so I love to eat those for like days after Thanksgiving. So love that week. Then it starts to get quite Christmassy because it starts in December. So just like I said about the travel album, I also, of course, document all of December in my Project Life album. For me, Project Life is the end all be all. It's the everything. I document everything in here. And then if I do December daily, October daily, a travel album, that's just the icing on the cake where I can have one album devoted to that and get really crafty and really detailed. But I want everything to be in Project Life. I love being able to grab my Project Life albums at the end of the year, the beginning of the year, and see all the things that we did. It's like one of my favorite things. So here's just, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. You know, we got our Peloton, went to go see The Grinch with my mom. And then here are the other two layouts that we worked on in my latest video here, where me and my mom were heading off to Disney at the beginning of December. So here's one of the layouts that we worked on there. And then on the back here is the other one of us going to the Sci-Fi Dine-In to eat, which was a lot of fun. And then there's a lot of little bits that go here. We have a park map from the Magic Kingdom. And then since this is on the right side, we have the insert here of just some additional photos from Disney, along with the back side, which has more of the Christmassy photos from going to the Christmas party, that sort of thing. And then we have the other park maps here. So I have those. And then we have the regular kind of weekly spread here with the little cards that are inside that pocket, which I love. So that's a lot of fun. And then here we're getting closer to Christmas. So we're moving on into mid-month. So there's a lot of Christmassy things going on. Christmas photos that we're taking, seeing friends and making treats and all of that kind of stuff. So lots of fun things to document there. And then here was the little extra goat page where me and Will went to go snuggle goats. So I did a little insert because it was kind of a random thing that we went to do, and I couldn't really fit it onto the spread. So I decided to make it its own thing. And then here is one of the other recent layouts that I made. And you might notice that this photo of lasagna was changed out. So I actually, when I was working on the last layout video, I went back and I changed this to a larger photo, which I think looks a lot better. And then I added some of the Heidi Swapp color shine in the tinsel color like I did with the other ones. And I think that just kind of finished it off nicely. But this is all about lasagna and bringing Lasagna and Judy, her mom, in during the cold days around Christmas. And then here is where I had that book themed layout originally, if you've been following along with my videos, but I changed it out for this one that we just worked on the other night. And this is kind of an end of the year, just like holiday photo of myself. And then here was our holiday card this year, along with the other ones that we received. So I'm just going to set those to the side. And then the last ones here of actually Christmas and all the fun that we had. And then the very last layout for the year here, week 52, with just mostly book reviews, movies that we were watching, a Grizzly game we went to, the food that we got for New Year's. And then I actually just have this spread, which was my first layout for 2023. If you remember this one, that's just in here for now while I get an album. So this one, of course, will be moved. But yes, there you have it. This is my album for the year for 2022. I've got to say, Project Life just continues to be my very favorite project out of all of them. Of course, I love December Daily. That's a close second. But something about Project Life, I love having all of the moments. I love having the holidays. I love the trips and the anniversaries and the birthdays, but I also just love having those just around the house moments, you know, pictures of our home, where we live, our routines, things that we do every day, things that my parents do, that Will does. I just love having all of that. And I think it's super, super special. So I will continue to do Project Life, I hope, for many, many years to come. So this is, I think 2023 will be, so I started in 18, so 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, so 23 will now be my 6th year of doing Project Life. So that is pretty special to me. And I think I have flip throughs of all of the past ones below. So I'll link that as well if you want to check those out. But thank you guys for following along throughout this year of process videos. And I hope you enjoyed this full flip through. Of course, I will be back at you super soon with another video. Have an awesome day, y'all. Subscribe, like, do all the things if you don't mind. And I'll talk to you later. Bye, friends.